Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Red, the mind behind the Red project, and this is episode 3 of my 5 essay series on how to be a cool girl. This one is called Going Analog, and we have already covered introductions and disclaimers, being tryhards, and consuming more than we and creating more than we consume. I'm Red, and I talk about exploring our inner creativity, avoiding burnout, analyzing culture and philosophy, and many other things that interest me. A little bit of spicy spirituality here and there, and yeah, basically I run a creative agency that focuses on helping creatives in their path. I do many things, amongst there are design, art, illustration, writing. I get paid for none of them, but I will get paid at some point in history, I hope. If you're interested in what I do, you can check out my website. I will link it down in the description, but it's also linked in my profile. So today's video might be a little bit of a mess because I'm not entirely healthy. I had a health issue that made me have to stay last night at the hospital, so I'm not really lucid, I'm not really sharp, but I'm gonna try anyways. So yeah, thank you for being here. So we are ready. I have my script here, I have all my materials here that I will show later, and we are ready to start. I will put down the chapters so that you can skip through the video, go back and go forth as you want. The chapters are going to be the many things we know already, where I discuss why digital media is detrimental. We all know it's detrimental, we all know it's bad, but why? I'm gonna talk about it. Secondly, if digital media is so bad, how is analog media any better? Where I discuss why analog media is better than digital media, and I go through the benefits of analog media. Thirdly, I'm going to talk about substitutes for digital media, so like dupes, things we can introduce in our lives to live a more analog lifestyle. And finally, a conclusion where I wrap everything up. I summarize the whole video into one conclusion and basically make a summarized version of the whole video, but in the end. I'm a bit of a mess today, I'm sorry. Anyways, I think that's all for the introduction. I don't think I missed anything, so let's get started with the many things we know already. So, digital media is detrimental. That is obvious. That part we know already. We have been told a bajillion times not to be on our phones the whole time, not to be in front of a screen the whole time. Our glasses are literally made to block out the blue light from our screens, which is awful for us, etc. We all know that. But I want to go through a few aspects of digital media that make it even more detrimental for us and our brains and our nervous system. So for starters, our brains are just not built for the amount of stimuli we get from social media. They're just not built for that. The amount of information we receive, the amount of content we receive, we consume, it's insane. And our nervous systems are wrecked. So that's one point to take into account, the amount of stimuli that we get, and also the fact that it's a loop that you can't escape, because we know that social media has been designed to be as addictive as possible. So you can't really escape that cycle, and you can't really escape that loop. Secondly, digital media is shallow and superficial, even though it projects an image of depth and authenticity, because you post things of your daily life with your friends, with your family, with everyone, and it's meant to look authentic, but in reality you are only showing what you want to show. And in the creative aspects of this, when you're writing something, when you're drawing something, when you're composing something, if you make a mistake or you regret doing something, you can just erase it with a click, with a Ctrl-Z, or with a whatever. Like, you can just delete it or erase it or whatever you want. So it's not really authentic in the sense that your humanity is not present in your work. Your mistakes, your errors are not present in your work because you can just delete them. And that's kind of sad. Also, by posting certain things and not posting certain things, you give more value to parts of your life than others, and your life is valuable as a whole, not just the parts that you post, but also the parts that you don't post, and they get disregarded as less valuable just because they're not online. And in the third place, the absolute fast pace of digital media is insane. You don't have time to reflect on what you do. For example, if you're writing an essay like I do, you're just super fast because you're just typing super fast. If you're drawing, you are super fast because, again, if you want to delete something, you can just Ctrl-Z and that's it. You don't have to correct your mistakes. And also, the connections that you make organically in analog media are made for you by an algorithm in digital media. So you are also losing the ability to connect dots and different ideas because the algorithm is already doing that for you. So digital media is just the worst. We get that. But, important but, there are good things about digital media that need to be mentioned. Digital media is extremely convenient for work purposes. Like, if your goal is to be productive, digital media is your go-to. Because how fast it is, if you're in a rush, you can just type things out and automatically correct them and erase whatever you don't want. It's super convenient in that sense. And it's also way cheaper than going analog, because going analog means spending money on materials, refills, different devices for each activity, and yeah, basically digital media is convenient and affordable. So we need to take that into account. Not everybody can afford an analog lifestyle. That's something we need to acknowledge, and I want to acknowledge through this video, and to let you know that this is not a judgment against people who live digitally, because I live digitally. We all do to an extent, and not everyone can afford to just make the switch. So yeah, there's no judgment from me in this regard. So next part, if digital media is so bad, how is analog any better? The slower pace, the more creative format, the mindfulness, like, I could list a bajillion reasons. I'm gonna list a few. The slower pace. So when you're writing something down, you have to take your time, because even if you go super fast, it's gonna be all scribbles. You need to take your time, and as you take your time, your mind keeps working, so you have time to reflect on what you're writing, on what you're drawing, or on what you're composing, or whatever you do. You have to take your time to think things through, because you can't rush through it as you can with digital media. Creating and creativity is not about efficiency, it's about the process. So having a slower process, a more mindful process, is better for a creative output, I think. And in an analog way, it's way easier to romanticize that process and to connect with the activity, because you're touching it, because you're feeling it. I talk a little bit more about how much I like physical things in my previous video, Create More Than You Consume, where I talk about zines as an example of how you can be creative in your day-to-day life. And I think it's a wonderful example of just how analog media can allow for more creative outputs than digital media. Secondly, analog media allows for more room for creativity in the sense of format. In digital media, the formatting is usually very rigid, very standardized, very strict. You have this canvas and you can't paste things, you can't experiment with what you're doing. You have this page for an article and you can only write like in lines. However, analogically, you can do whatever you want. You are free to do whatever you want, and that is insane from a creative point of view. You can write in circles, in spirals. You can write however you want. You can scribble, you can doodle next to your writings, you can paste old works on top of new works. Like, you can do whatever you want in an analog way. Digital mediums constrict you to their formatting and their formatting. But analog mediums do not. So that's another pro for analog versus digital. You leave an honest mark when you're creating analogically. What do I mean by that? When you're creating analogically, you always leave trace of what you have done. Of course, you can use an eraser and try to erase what you did. You can scribble over it and just delete that part, but the scribble will be there and the remains of what you did will be there, and that's honest and authentic and human. And I think that aspect of analog media is really interesting to explore, the fact that everything leaves a trace. And digitally you can just delete everything or edit everything, as I said, but analogically that's more difficult to do. So it leaves a human trace in the work. It doesn't higher the expectations bar to an impossible degree, because nothing can be perfect when done analogically. And perfection is not the goal when you're creating, but enjoying the processes. And to finalize, you're never really free of distraction. Anything can be a distraction nowadays, but when you're working analogically, you get distracted by more organic things, such as, I don't know, humans talking outside, birds chirping, a car that passes by, or whatever. You don't get distracted by the thing itself that you're working with. So it's easier to reach that flow state that many people talk about, because you are focused on your medium and you're focused on your thing. While with digital media, a notification can pop up at any minute, at any second, and your mind can just go from one place to a total opposite in a second. So that's another point to take into account. There are a few cons to analog that I don't see many people talk about, and I want to mention them because it's important to acknowledge them, I think. Firstly, it's expensive. Like, only privileged people can switch to an analog lifestyle, and I want to acknowledge that. As I said before, not everyone can afford this type of lifestyle, so if you think you can't, I don't want you to feel judged by this video or attacked in any way. It's just that for the people who can afford it, I think it's a better lifestyle in general. But it has its cons, such as how expensive it is, how time consuming it is. It's not meant to be efficient, it's meant to be creative and to leave room for mindfulness, but not to be productive. So if your goal is to be productive, this is not for you. But the point of this essay isn't really to make your life easier, it's to make it more whimsical or more creative. So I think it's worth it. That's something you have to figure out for yourself, whether it's worth it for you or not. That's something you have to figure out yourself. I can't figure it out for you. So, dupes. Interesting topic. Substitutes. Okay, so the main thing we use digitally, the thing we use the most, is our phones. We are on our phones 24/7, we're messaging other people, we're posting on social media, we're receiving emails on our phones, and that is not cool, in my opinion. So my first step would be to switch to a dumb phone. This thing is amazing because it makes everything intentional. Every message that you send is intentional. Every call that you receive and you pick is intentional. You don't get lost when you're using it. So yeah, you can also dumbify your phone, your smartphone. By the way, the only smart thing about the smartphone is the name. You can dumbify your smartphone. There are loads of apps that do this for you, like block everything, like every social media, everything, and you can only access the notes and the phone itself and maybe some messages, but not all. I don't know, I'm not sure how it works, I never tried. But you can dumbify your phone. You don't need to buy a new one or an old one. In this case, this one is old, really old. So yeah, substitute your phone with a dumb phone would be a great start. Then you might be thinking, hey, I have a lot of things in my smartphone that I don't have in a dumb phone, and that's the goal, that you don't have them in your dumb phone. So what else do you need? I recommend switching to analog calendars and planners, such as this one or these ones. You can plan your whole life with these ones, and they work for planning great. Then for music, for example, listening to CDs or MP3 players make the listening experience more authentic because you choose which artists to listen to instead of the algorithm recommending artists to you. It's more intentional because you're spending money on said CD or time in charging the songs into your MP3 player. So it's really intentional. You are careful with what you listen to. You listen to what you really want to listen to and not just whatever you find. Then for entertainment, long-term entertainment is always better than short-term entertainment. So movies are great, books are amazing. As you can see, I have a few. Yeah, for entertainment, just touch some grass. Go touch some grass. And then the quintessential object in this list, the object that cannot go unmentioned in this video, is a commonplace book. A commonplace book is essential in an analog lifestyle, in any lifestyle. Like, if you live digitally, please keep an analog record of everything, which is basically what a commonplace means. A commonplace book is a notebook or a place where you keep everything that you think. Grocery lists, you can keep there. Doodles, you can keep there. Philosophical treatises, you can keep there. Cultural analysis, you can keep there. As deep and as shallow as you want. Like, anything that crosses your mind, you can put into your commonplace book. So I have this one, which is a small notebook that you can carry everywhere. It's literally the same size as my phone, as you can see. It's the same size as my phone, so if you can carry your phone, you can carry this. And the best part about it is how ugly it is. It is disgustingly ugly. It's just black and boring, and it doesn't have any stickers, any nothing. In the beginning I did try to make it pretty, and I did try to keep it tidy and organized. But then I watched a life-changing video that I will link down in the description by Oddly Specific Crystal, where she talks about why your notebook should be messy. And I applied it to my notebook, and now it's literally a mess, like, yeah. And then we have, of course, the star of the video, my dearest Filofax. I love it. I'm going to talk about why this is the best thing ever. So, this is my Filofax. You can keep your pen here to write, so marvelous. You can have tabs. I don't know if you can see them, but I have tabs all over this place. And you can take out or put in new stuff whenever you want to. So what I do is I note things down wherever I can, and then I add holes to the thing, and then I add it to my Filofax. So post-its, sticky notes, watercolors, anything really that you can think of, you can put in here. So a Filofax, I highly recommend. This is not brand Filofax, by the way. It's a random brand. Like, it doesn't have to be brand Filofax. I prefer these over the Louis Carmen ones, because the Louis Carmen's, you don't really have the chance to move things around and put one thing before another if you wrote them the opposite way. So I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly, but I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all the substitutes that you might need. If you think of something that I may be missing, comment it down below and I will try to find a dupe for it. In the meantime, time for the conclusion. So, in conclusion, digital media is detrimental because of how fast-paced it is, because of how unauthentic it is, and because of how much stimuli it pushes into our brains, so it completely dysregulates our nervous system. Analog media, on the other side, is a slower pace, giving room for meditation and mindfulness and being present in the moment. It is also more creative because you have room to experiment with the format, and it's also more authentic because everything that you do leaves a trace, and that makes us human. There are pros and cons to both. Some pros of digital media is how convenient and efficient it is, while analog media is not convenient in the slightest, and is not quick in the slightest. It takes time, it takes patience. So if your goal is to be productive, it's not for you. But we are not here to be productive, we are here to be creative, and as artists our goal isn't the final product, it's the process behind it. If we're barely present for that process, we can barely call it art. So analog media helps you stay connected with the present moment, be more meditative about what you do, question yourself, take your time, and be honest and open, authentic, human. That's pretty much it for the video. If you want to support me, I will link down all my links. If you'd like to support me, you can like this video, you can subscribe to this channel, and you can check out the links in my description. I will add a lot of resources, don't worry about it, because I used a lot of resources for this video, as I do with all my videos. And yeah, basically that's it. I think we're pretty much done. I might repeat this whole video because I'm not liking how it came out. But I don't know, I'm not in my best mental state right now, so I hope you liked it. I didn't.
Nothing I do is very good, nothing I do is ever good enough.
Anyways, I think that's it for today. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, I will link it down. If you want to check out my other videos, I will link them down. If you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee. You can join my mail club. I have a mail club. If you want to support me, you can join my mail club. I have a mail club where every month I send out mail with postcards, stickers, thank you letters, surprises, more things, and yeah, I send them out every month. So if you want to subscribe to that, I will link the link in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, they're calling me. I gotta go. Yes, sorry, wait a second. Sorry, I gotta go. They're calling me. I gotta go. Bye. Mwah.